Ladies and gentlemen, Democrats have a very, very strong fundraising apparatus in Georgia. You might say, well, what on earth does that have to do with the Fulton County District Attorney and investigations into the Fulton County District Attorney? Well, we'll get to that possibly later in this segment, but I want to read you this. Chairman Jordan launches inquiry into whether Fulton County DA Fannie Willis coordinated with federal officials. So Jim Jordan is now investigating the Fulton County District Attorney. He wants the following. Documents related, all documents and communication referring to federal funds. So how much federal funding is the city in Georgia, Atlanta, using to go after Trump? All documents and communications between or among Fulton County District Attorney's Office and DOJ and its components. Special Counsel Jack Smith, referring or relating to the office's investigation of Trump and 18 individuals. So, was there any coordination with Jack Smith? Was there any coordination at all with any government official? How much funding was taken from the federal government? Because once there's funding from the federal government or any communication with a federal government official, for example, a Democratic senator, a Democratic congressperson, an activist, let's say, or a fundraising person, or a fundraiser for the Democratic Party, then it's within the FEC, within Congress, within all of that. So within the purview of the federal government, then the federal government can say, okay, we're going to investigate the investigators. We're going to investigate everyone involved in investigating Trump because it's obviously political. Jim Jordan and most of humanity does not view this to be apolitical. You have Clinton getting fined, and I think Hillary will be the 24 nominee for the Democratic Party. I know people think I'm nuts, but you have Clinton's campaign and the DNC fined by the FEC for purchasing the Steele dossier. They never once accepted Trump as president. They accused him of working for another country, being installed by another country. And then they say, oh my God, Trump never accepted results. So, I mean, you're talking about the most disingenuous, duplicitous human beings. But anyway, all documents and communication between Fulton County District Attorney's Office and any federal executive branch officials regarding your office's investigation of Trump or any other 18 individuals. So they want communication between the president and anyone in Fulton County. So they want communication between the president's administration, Congress, anyone in the Democratic Party, high-ranking members of the Democratic Party, and the district attorney. Okay, you might say, well, why'd you start off with the fundraising? The fundraising is a big deal. Democrats need Georgia, a red state, to compete. They also need Arizona, a red state. Okay, the Republican parties in these states have to step up. So if they step up, Democrats have no chance in 24. If they actually defend a former Republican president in Trump, Democrats have zero chance. So Democrats can have Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and social media algorithms and all of Hollywood and every single publication from the Washington Post, New York Times, MSNBC, CNN, Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine. You look, the list is endless. And they still won't have a chance in 24 without, without Georgia and Arizona, they will not have a chance. And if Republicans in Georgia and Arizona just take a stand, just, rally around a former Republican president, Democrats have zero chance in 24. But this is very interesting. It's really interesting the way they're going after Trump, but then they're going after the former DA as well. So federal grand jury investigating former district attorney Paul Howard. So they're going after Paul Howard. And hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, right now to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. And if you want to support my work, my Patreon is below. Super thanks is below next to the like and the share buttons. But so Fannie Willis defeated Paul Howard, who was there for over 2 decades or so. Paul Howard ousted after serving more than 2 decades as Fulton County DA. Now, there's a political component here to the district attorney going after her, the person she defeated, and Trump. Now, if you want to say, well, no, they're accused of crimes, you could have accused both Clintons of serious issues regarding their philanthropic organization. So there is a philanthropic organization linked to Paul Howard that they're going after. Okay? So there's prosecutorial discretion, and a lot of the prosecutorial discretion is influenced by politics. So the Clinton Foundation, for example, had huge scandals in Haiti. Then there was, of course, millions upon millions upon millions from people associated with a uranium deal. You have a whole bunch of major controversies. But the Fulton County DA unseated Paul Howard, an incumbent who was there for over 2 decades. So I'm not making any absolute claim here or accusation of the district attorney, but I'm saying it's very bizarre when you look at Georgia and you look at how politics have been conducted recently. The fundraising is through the roof in Georgia. The DA going after Trump is also going after the person that she defeated, who served for two decades plus. And you have the issue of Jim Jordan saying, okay, fundraising is a huge priority. There's a whole lot of money. The Democratic Party needs Georgia. They probably communicated in some manner with a top Democrat, maybe Pelosi, when she was in office, maybe any top Democrat within Congress. Okay, this is not apolitical. You'd have to be a complete imbecile to believe all of this is apolitical. What they did was they defeated an incumbent, then went after the incumbent, and are now have indicted and going after the incumbent in a court of law. Then what they did is very likely coordinate in some manner with the Oval Office, with Biden's White House. Obviously probably not with mashed potato brains, but one of the many people around making decisions. And they said, okay, they could have said, what's the best time to indict Trump? They could have asked, well, should we coordinate with Jack Smith in some manner? Because they're not allowed to do so. This is a state. You're talking about Fulton County's a state-level indictment. Once they speak to or coordinate or coordinate with anyone in the federal government or receive any federal funds, then they go. Then Jim Jordan and Congress can investigate them. So you have to ask yourself, is this apolitical? Do you think that a state that Democrats need in 24, a traditionally red state where fundraising is through the roof, where the DA that just won 2 years ago is now indicting the person that she defeated, and then eventually going after the former president, do you think that this is all a coincidence? Or maybe there's a political component here. Okay, maybe it's purely politics, and the indictments, even of Paul Howard, is purely political. Maybe there's just pure politics in trying to disparage Trump, because a lot of the indictments against Trump, and I did a segment regarding one of his allies prior to this one, the indictments against Trump are so broad and sprawling. The allegations are so ambiguous. The Supreme Court overturns corruption convictions all the time. They will certainly when it gets to the Supreme Court, if there's a conviction, overturn any conviction? Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now.